has the indication that even though I think I know where I'm going, and I've traveled this road before, there's some things that are not seen by me. Things I can fall into. Things I can get trapped by.
Yes.
But if you allow the Lord to order your steps, when the potholes of entrapment comes upon you, he'll lift you up.
Yeah.
When your family and friends set traps for you, he'll walk you through. Order my steps in your word.
Amen.
Jeremiah 18. Very familiar passage that I want to preach in an unfamiliar way. Jeremiah 18. We know it as the potter and the clay. Jeremiah 18. Starting with verse 1. When you have it, say amen.
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 The word of the Lord came to Jeremiah from the Lord. Arise and go down to the potter's house, and there I will let you hear my words. Jeremiah says, so I went down to the potter's house, and there he was working at his wheel. And the vessel he was making of clay was moored in the potter's hand, and he reworked it into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to do so. Then the word of the Lord came to me, O house of Israel, can I not do with you as this potter has done? Declares the Lord, behold, like the clay in the potter's hands, so are you in my hand, O house of Israel. Just for a moment, I want to lift up this thought in our minds. Stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel. You may be seated in the house of our Lord.
Yes.
God gives several analogies as to the relationship that he has with his people. In John chapter 16 and 15, he uses the vine. He being the branch and we being that extension. He uses the analogy of the relationship. So if I was preaching that, I would say, stay on the vine. And then in John chapter 10, he uses the analogy of a sheep, the good shepherd. And if I was preaching that, I would say, stay with the shepherd. In John chapter 3, he uses the analogy of the bridegroom. The bridegroom being married to his bride and celebrating the victory of marriage. So if I was preaching that, I would say, stay with the bridegroom. But that's not my assignment this morning. My assignment this morning comes from Jeremiah 18, where Jeremiah was readily told to get up and go down to the potter's house. God said, there I will tell you something that you may not know right now. And all of this, it comes from, I look at Jeremiah chapter 17, is when God kindled his anger toward Judah. God was very mad at Judah for several reasons, but the main reason was because they were worshiping idol gods. And not only were they worshiping idol gods, they were doing it in the house of God, making wooden statues and bowing down and having sex religious practices and sacrificing children. All of this in the house of God. Practicing idolatry, and the whole world was going to hell in a handbasket. And then God said, okay, I tell you, I'll make a deal with you. If you can just do one thing for me, keep the Sabbath day and make it holy.
Yes. Yes.
And then he issued a warning. He said, if you don't keep that Sabbath day, I tell you, I'm going to burn down the gates and all the people with it. I go on record to say that there's an eerie feeling to Jeremiah 17 and 18 as to the world that we live in today. The way our religious practices are going and our churches are compromising, and our government can't seem to have the right person to do the right thing. It seems like this world is going to hell in a handbasket. But God, he told Jeremiah, get up and go down to the potter's house. Because I know that you think this world is going to hell in a handbasket, but I can show you how they can be used.
Yeah.
And so Jeremiah, in Jeremiah 18, he got up early that morning and he went down to hear the words. And can't you see Jeremiah observing the potter? The Bible says that Jeremiah, he saw him working at his wheel. The wheel was spinning. And one thing I know is that this world is going to keep on spinning. There's no way you can stop it, Brother Howard. This world is going to keep on spinning. If you don't die every day, you're going to have another day. Did you know that? That the world doesn't stop just because you're going through something. Oh, it's going to keep on spinning.
Yeah.
And if you don't catch a hold to the world will catch a hold of you. It's going to keep on spinning. But as long as you stay on the wheel, the spinning will be controlled by the potter. Stay on the wheel. Watch me as I look through the window of the potter. The potter goes through several things, but the first thing I wanted you to understand is that the potter is using unusable material. Okay, let me see, can I help y'all here?
Right.
The potter is using something that was made out of mud. And he's put it on the wheel to make something usable out of it. Make something that people will want to buy and purchase and look at and say that it looks good. But right now, it doesn't look to be usable.
Yeah.
Sometimes, when you have that unusable situation, he has to beat it. He has to slap it. He has to press down and mold it. All of this is not because he hates the clay, it's because he wants it to be usable.
Yeah.
Sometimes God has to beat you.
Oh, yes.
Put you back in line. When you want to go to the left, he pulls you back to the right. Sometimes he has to sit you down because you talk too much.
Yeah.
Sometimes he has to stand up because you're too quiet. Sometimes he has to push you because you're hesitant. But whatever he does, God, keep your hands on you.
Yeah.
Stay on the wheel.
Yeah.
This happens early, so this is the foundation. So whatever you went through in your childhood, whatever you went through coming up, it was because he was beating the lumps out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, God. If he doesn't beat the lumps out of you, you will have what we call little pockets of air. And the problem is, when you have these little pockets of air, if you turn into a vessel with these little pockets of air, they're called weak spots.
Yeah.
So early in your childhood, God is trying to beat out the weak spots. So when he makes you into a vessel that you won't crumble and fall under your own pressure.
Yeah.
And so when I look at this clay, he's trying to make it usable. He's steady adding water and instead of spinning. And sometimes, watch this. This is what the potter said. He said the clay fights back.
Yeah.
He's trying to use the clay and it starts fighting back. Oh, I know I'm not the only one, but some of us can attest that I used to fight back.
Yeah, yeah.
God was trying to use me, had his hand on me, but here I go out to places I shouldn't go, saying things I shouldn't say, being with people I shouldn't be with. I was trying to fight back when the whole time he had his hand on me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's trying to make you usable, because if you can be usable, you can be in the house of the Lord.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's trying to be in everything. He's trying to get the foundation. Once he gets the foundation, then he does another thing. He has to open it up. Somebody say, this hurts. He has to put two thumbs inside of the middle of the clay to open it up. If he never opens you up, he can't pour anything inside of it.
Yeah.
Stay on the wheel. Because some people jump off the wheel when they're a lump of clay. And when you're a lump of clay and folks are looking at you and you're all muddy and everything, watch this. The Bible says that he got that same lump of clay and put it back on the wheel.
Yeah.
See, God can work with what we call a hot mess. Yes, you're thrown to the side. That's why you can't let other people shape you. You have to let God shape you.
Yeah.
Because other folks will look at you. The songwriter said it like this: he saw the best in me. When everyone else around could only see the worst in me. I'm so glad that he picked. Maybe y'all never fell off the wheel, but I can attest today, I fell off the wheel several times, but I'm so glad that he picked me up, threw me back on the wheel and started punching me, shaping me. Maybe it's just me. But what's your story?
Yeah.
Don't pretend like you've been on the wheel the whole time.
Yeah, yeah.
And God shaped you up like you were a vessel the whole time, looking as good as you are. I know you look good right now, but I tell you right now that you were a lump of clay.
Yeah.
And so he put those thumbs and he's trying to open up the inside.
Yes, sir.
Open up my heart
Yeah.
and fill me, Lord.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
And so once he starts opening up the inside and working on the inside, watch this, watch this. But how he pours more water in so he can get all the muddy stuff out. And when he starts pouring the water in, he looks inside. And if it's muddy, he knows he's not through with the insides yet. Oh, y'all help me with this. It's not until he pours the water in when he can see his own reflection that he knows he's through with the inside.
Okay, okay.
He looks inside of your heart, and if you still see that muddy stuff, then you're not finished yet. Stay on the wheel. It's not until he can see his own reflection, when he can see the face of Jesus inside of your heart, that you're ready to be used.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, but you're not through yet. Stay on the wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Just because you're usable doesn't mean you can hop off. Stay on the wheel. Oh, the next thing he does is, it's a very crucial process. He starts to lift up the pot. And he puts one hand on the inside and one hand on the outside, and he starts to lift up the pot, and it starts to get taller and taller. This is the most vulnerable part of your life. Because now it has the thinnest wall that it ever could have, but it's the tallest that it ever could be. And at this point, it has a tendency to be warped. And I asked the potter, how does it get warped?
Yeah.
He said, it's warped because it's too top heavy. Oh, what does that mean? That means the foundation is smaller than the top point. Oh, what does that mean? Okay, let me see, can I put it for black people? You got the big head.
Yeah, yeah.
You think just because you got a little something on the top,
Yeah.
that you can just do your own thing. This is when people jump off the wheel.
All right.
Can I help you?
Come on now.
Oh, when you too top heavy, that means you got your degree. You got your good job.
Yeah.
You driving up in your Mercedes Benz and your BMW. Oh, you got it going on. You're too top heavy. If the potter doesn't keep his hands on you, and if you don't stay on that wheel, you're liable to jump off. Oh, and watch this, it's not completely the clay's fault. No. Sometimes we make the clay jump off. How do you do that? Because we give them a title. Once they start calling you pastor, then you feel like you're done. You can go ahead and jump off the wheel.
Yeah.
Once they start calling you deacon, you can go ahead and start jumping off the wheel. You think you're done, don't you? Once they start calling you CEO, president, manager, oh, you think you're done, don't you? So you can just go ahead and stay on the wheel.
Yeah.
God is not through with you yet.
Yeah.
This is the most vulnerable part of your life, I told you. It's when people, watch this, you look good on the outside,
Yeah.
but you're not ready. Watch this, here we go. You are ready just enough, watch this, to be purchased, but not used.
Okay.
Yeah, people will buy you because you look good on the outside. Yeah, everything that looks good isn't good. Come here, domino players. Y'all know all money ain't good money. You look good. Everything you talk good.
Yeah.
Ladies, beware of hooking up with folks who look good on the outside.
Yeah.
He'll fall off that wheel in a minute. But if God keeps his hands on you, it doesn't matter what title you get. It doesn't matter if you're done and yet. So, Grandma would say it like this: please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. Steve Harvey would say, don't trip. God is not through with me yet. I know, because see, y'all have a tendency to hype people up. Oh, you good. Oh, he got it going on. Baby, God is still working with him.
Yeah.
I know he has a good job and he talks good, but God is still working with him.
Yeah.
And if you stay with God's unchanging hand, you too can be worked with. Watch this. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And then the last step is this: he's now trying to shape you. Yeah, he's trying to watch to shape it. And so what he does, is that he slows down the wheel. He slows down the wheel so he can keep his hands on you, and he wants to perfect every part.
Right.
He slows down the wheel so that you can pay attention to him and only him. He slows down the wheel so you can spend time with the things that's most important in life.
Yeah.
Did y'all know? Let me tell y'all something. That only what you do for Christ will last. See, I know you thought it was only what you do with your boo thing will last. No. That's not the way it works. Only what you do for Christ will last. All you have to do is stay on the wheel. Now, here's the problem. Some of us believe that we can't be used because that lump of clay that failed is now still have the same problems as to when he's shaped. Yeah, see, that's why some of y'all are afraid to come into the house of God. Because you still know that you remember the lump of clay days. But let me tell you something. Even if you're still on drugs, stay on the wheel.
Yeah.
I know that hurt. Because the ones who are already looking good on the side is looking at the one that's a lump of clay.
Yeah.
And they're judging them. See, they look on the side, they look so pretty and they look so good, like they've never been a lump of clay. But they too still have issues.
Say it again.
And now, if truth be told, there's some pottery over there that if you pour some water into it, they won't reflect the face of Jesus. Stay on the wheel.
Yeah.
Let him use you. If you stay on the wheel as a teenage mother, watch this, he can still use you. If you stay on the wheel as an ex-drug dealer, oh, he can still use you.
Yeah.
If you just stay on the wheel while you're still taking the medication, watch this, he can still use you. Sickness and disease, he can still use you. Stay on the wheel. Don't fall off the wheel. Because sometimes we have a tendency to become discouraged because it's taking so long. Don't y'all know that it takes a long time to shape a good vessel?
Yes, yes.
This thing doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. God keeps his hands on you until you're done.
That's right.
Oh, no, he doesn't look at the pottery and say, it's done, and stop the wheel in the middle of it. No, he knows when it's done. Watch this, watch this. This is the part I really want to stress to you. While he's shaping you, Paul says it like this: don't think that I have arrived. Yeah, I know y'all see all the good stuff, but don't think that I have arrived. He said all this stuff that I accumulated through life and matriculated through the education, he said I have not arrived. He said, watch this, when I would do good, evil steps in my way. Oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means if you feel like you're ready and the potter takes you off and you're not ready, you too can be broken. Oh, now how are we going to keep this nice looking vessel from being broken? Here's the last thing. He has to add heat. But what is heat? That means that I know you thought that you were this nice vessel so that you can get some water poured in you and pour out and overflow somebody's cup. No, that's not right. You're this nice vessel so that you can withstand the test of time. And the only way you can stand the test of time is that you go through something.
Yeah.
Those of you who had it good all your life with a silver spoon and you were born with the King James Bible in your hand, God bless you. This sermon is not for you. But this sermon is for the ones who've been through the fire.
Yeah.
And who came out, watch this, not smelling like smoke. The only way you can do that is that God keeps his hands on you. And he paints the picture on the outside that looks good just as it is on the inside. That's why the psalmist said, God provided me a clean heart and a right spirit. Because I look good on the outside, but I'm mean to folks.
Yeah.
I talk nasty to my family members. People can't stand me on my job. I look good on the outside, but I can't be used. I go from job to job. I go from booth thing to booth thing. I go from house to house. I go from church to church. All because when people get close to me, they see what's inside of me. God created me a clean heart.
Yeah.
So whatever you pour in me, it reflects the face of Jesus.
Great stuff.
Now, let me be like Jeremiah 18 and take us to Calvary's Hill.
Come on.
Can I close this?
Yes, sir. Come on.
There was a man on Calvary's Hill. He stayed on the potter's wheel. Y'all know him. He had every reason to jump off the wheel.
Oh, yeah.
But Jeremiah describes a relationship like this. He's a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Yeah. He was the wheel in the middle of the wheel, but when we seen him, he was marred. He was hanging on a cross.
Yeah.
Oh, he didn't look usable for nothing.
Come on now.
The Bible said that he was marred, so disfigured that he didn't even look like a man.
Yeah.
But he was being used.
Oh,
And I'm so glad if I was to rework this sermon, I would say, stay on the cross. Stay on the cross. Whatever you do, don't come down, because if you come down, we're all in trouble. Stay on the cross. But here's the thing. He had every reason to get off the cross. Why? Because he had already done what he did. Y'all don't understand. Let me see, can I help y'all? He had already fed 5,000 with 2 small fish and 5 small loaves of bread.
yeah.
So he had every reason to jump out but stay on the cross. Because the potter still has his hands on you.
Yeah.
You're being used. He had every reason to jump up. He healed Peter's mother-in-law from a fever. Probably a 105 temperature. He healed her. But I can hear God say, stay on the cross. Stay in my hand because I'm still using you. He had every reason, watch this. He changed water into wine. He even walked on water.
Yeah.
Stay on the cross. Because you're still being used.
Oh, yes.
I can see him right now. I remember when he tried to jump off. Y'all remember when he tried to jump off? He was in that garden and he looked around and he said, Father, if it be possible, take this cup from me. But I can hear God say, stay on.
Yeah.
Stay on the cross. Don't jump down just because I'm using you. Stay on the cross.
Yeah, yeah.
I can see him when he was trying to get out of it. When he was hanging on that cross. And he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken you? And watch this, and God took his hands off of him. Oh my goodness. But when he took his hands off of him, watch this, y'all. He said, it is finished. Y'all don't understand. I didn't come here to hoop and holler. I came here to let you know that it's finished.
Yeah.
When he was finished, watch this. We were ready to begin to be on the wheel. If he didn't finish, then you would still be a lump of clay.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that he said it is finished. Because if he didn't say it is finished, I would have to look at my marred self and realize that this project boy is still a lump of clay. What's your story? Stay on the wheel. Look at the neighbor and say, stay on the wheel. I don't know your story. I really don't know your story. But you look good on the outside right now. And I see what you drove up in. And I know how much is in your bank account. But I declare you right now, stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel. I know you're making good grades. Stay on the wheel. If you think that it's all about you, do me a favor. You're too top-heavy. Stay on the wheel. Because you're going to start to become marred. You're going to start twisting around. And your life is going to go faster than what you think it's going to go. And then you're going to hop out. Stay on the wheel. Somebody say stay on the wheel. I'm so glad that he stayed on the wheel. Friday night he said it's finished, but guess what? He was still on the wheel. All night, sir. But early. Somebody say early. Early Sunday morning. He got off the wheel. But when he got off the wheel, he came off with all power in his hands. Somebody say, won't he do it? Won't he lift you up? Won't he put you on the wheel and turn you around? Won't he place your feet on solid ground? Somebody say, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he, won't he? Somebody say, yeah. Stay on the wheel. It's marred. It's ugly. There's some things in your background that you don't want to see in your vessel. Stay on the wheel. Stay on the wheel. God bless you. And may he keep you is my prayer.